This is Coach Potatoes, January 1st, 2021 already. Week 17 of the NFL. It is Dallas.
And Jeff back again. We had a little bit of a delay this week, a little bit of a COVID scare combined with some miscommunication. So, podcast is very late, about 4 days late, but we're doing it. We're back.
Yeah, it just means this special January 1st episode for everyone.
Yeah, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, everyone. Just wanted to announce, since I haven't had the chance to yet, in our fantasy league, I am the best loser. I got seventh place out of our 12-person fantasy league, so I got first place in the consolation bracket, um, and I'm the best loser.
Yeah, ended up outscoring me at the end too. I think I finished ninth place, but both of us, you more points than me. Top
Yeah,
four in points, I think.
I think I counted again, and I have top 3 points still. Like I have number three.
Oh, then I'm number four.
Damn. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know how we both got so low with so many points. It's so, I don't know. Anyway, let's let's start jumping into this week. Enough talking about us being bad at fantasy football. Let's start first with our Fast Five review. Uh, First game we want to talk about is the Dolphins at Raiders. A close one. Final score was 26-25. I had the Dolphins winning 31-10. Dallas had the Raiders winning 41-35. And how do you feel about this game, Dallas? What's your thoughts on it?
Sorry. It's a loss on a lot of different degrees for the Raiders. I mean, you have Derek Carr start it and lose a close game. Makes you wonder week 17. No matter what, they're gonna finish a losing team 8-8, 500 at most.
Yeah,
Uh, you just let Mariota take week 17. No reason for Derek Carr to get another broken leg.
absolutely. I agree. I also like this was like a really bad game for the Raiders. They were 0 for 10 on third down.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible? How do you like that has to come down to play calling, right?
I mean, I think at least a couple do. There may be. I watched that game, but I don't remember a lot of it. It was bad on both sides.
It was not a buttoned up game, but I know I can check real quick what the Dolphins were. I believe that they weren't nearly as bad.
Well,
Dolphins and Raiders. Go ahead, keep
do
talking.
I do remember Tua was at a point in the game where he had three third down, just three and outs in a row. After
Hmm.
that, that's when Fitzpatrick or Fitzmagic came in.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick was 9 for 13, 182 yards and one touchdown. I think he only started like the maybe part of the third, maybe fourth quarter.
Yeah,
Uh,
and
Put up some numbers, He's the gunslinger, but he was able to put him in the game.
the Raiders literally shot themselves in the foot there at the end. I don't know how they still completed the pass. Even if they hadn't, that 15 yards was huge at that point in the game.
You're talking about the face mask on Fitzpatrick at the end?
Yeah, I mean, incredible play by the Dolphins, but they don't look like a 10-5 team.
No, I don't. I can't disagree. I just checked the third down efficiency for the Dolphins. They were 5 for 15, which isn't a good one, but it's much better than 0 for 10 if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, 1 out of 3 is just not going to win you a game.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Unless you're playing a team that gets if you get 33% of your third downs converted and the other team has 0%, I think you got something going right at least in that game.
There were really only 3 people that stood out to me in that game that I think should go into next year feeling secure. That's Darren Waller, Brian Flores, and Josh Jacobs. That's about it, honestly.
Honestly, though, I would throw in Nelson Aguilar had a huge day. He had a big touchdown that would have sealed the game if the Raiders had a defense. And then
It's true.
Miles Gaskin followed that up with his touchdown, and then Byron Jones got a pass interference. on the very next drive that turned into a field goal. And then the last drive of the game was the Fitzmagic face mask Hail Mary. But Miles Gaskin had a huge day: 14 carries, 87 yards, 5 receptions, 82 yards, 2 touchdowns receiving. Um, yeah, and that all of those drives I said, those were all in the last 4 minutes of the game. I think it was like from 4:30 to the end of the game. That's when all of those drives happened.
Fair points.
Yeah, and Aguilar was also 5 for 155 yards in that touchdown TD. So I know that Eagles fans hate Aguilar because he's dropped several passes for them. Do you remember that story a few years ago when that guy was on like local news in Philadelphia, and he was like, Aguilar couldn't catch like a baby if it was falling out of like a burning building, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I love hearing about. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all the people I had to shout out. Was there anyone else that you wanted to talk about?
No, I think I'm glad you mentioned those guys. Looking back at their stats, those are secure guys this week with that close game.
Yeah,
Those are
and
those are really the only shout outs.
yeah, and I know those guys had big nights. I can't see Aguilar like continuing to. He's an old guy for football right now. I believe he's either right before his 30s or in his 30s. And then Miles Gaskin, unless he continues to play like that, he won't become a household name, you know?
Yeah, I mean, consistency is the name of the game in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. Just adjusting audio real quick. All right. You ready to go next to the Colts at the Steelers?
Yeah,
So,
I watched this one live. Did you?
I watched part of it. Like I watched part of the end. I watched all the highlights for all these games, but I watched the end part where it was like 24-21 and the Steelers came back.
Yeah.
But the final score in this one was 24-28, Steelers taking it home. Uh, I predicted the Colts to win 24-20, and Dallas had the Colts winning 39-24. So we were both off in this one. The Colts were up though, 24-7 in the third quarter. I It's incredible that they were still able to lose this game.
Yeah, Indy blew it. Indy had a lead. They ran the ball well. They had an early fumble and a late interception, and that's hard to overcome. I mean,
Yeah.
the Steelers defense is just great. They have been all year.
Yeah, absolutely. Philip Rivers on the day was 22 for 35, 270 yards, 1 touchdown, and one terrible interception. Uh,
Yeah.
Looked like he thought that, one of the Steelers was his wide receiver. It was really bad.
Counterpart, Big Ben, 34 of 49, nearly 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Yeah, which is surprising. Old wobbly knees, Big Ben, you know?
Especially watching the first half of the game. I mean, you would think that another team came out of the locker room for Pittsburgh.
It looked like Big Ben was like on speed in the second half. He was like throwing it like he was 25 again. It was actually kind of cool to watch.
Yeah. Steelers win the division on that game. And if the Colts make the playoffs, it'll be interesting to see what happened. Like if Indy's defense fell apart or if the Steelers offense sort of figured it out and got out of the slump. I don't think we'll figure out week 17 because Big Ben will obviously sit, but
Yeah. One thing I wanted to point out with these two teams is that they're kind of similar in a lot of ways. Only difference, in my opinion, is that the Colts have a better rush attack. But two of the same quarterbacks drafted in the same year, same sort of like statue mentality where they're going to sit back and throw it. And and the defenses are both stout. And those are the kind of parallels that I watched in this game. It was kind of a cool, like watching two Titans go up against each other, you know?
yeah, it's crazy to think Colts 10-5 still haven't secured a playoff spot.
Yeah, yep. And I'm not sure if they will this week either. Did you have any other thoughts on this one?
Just how close these teams are together, like you were saying. Looking at the NFL turnover differential, the Indianapolis is third at plus 10, and I'm still looking for the Steelers, but nowhere near the top. So just interesting how the game turned out based on that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's I think the Steelers' biggest like flaws in this game were shown. I think they didn't have more than 20 rushing yards all day. Um,
God,
yeah, that's awful.
it
Um,
really came down to turnovers, it seems like.
yeah, exactly. And it was just Big Ben. It was his arm versus Philip Rivers' very shoddy arm. When Philip Rivers and Big Ben are known for this, like turning over the ball when it's like desperately needed not to be turned over. You know what I mean?
Gunslingers that have misfire sometimes. It happens. They're getting older.
Exactly. But like, it seems like it's kind of so weird how similar these two quarterbacks are. I guess Philip Rivers is a little taller and probably a little skinnier, but like that's the only
Better,
difference between the two.
better smack talk, probably less sexual felonies, sort of things. I would have to
Yeah.
imagine.
Unless you have like having 7 kids is a felony, but I don't think it is.
Some states might, but we're digressing. Do you want to take us to the next game?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go to the Eagles at the Cowboys. God. The Cowboys just thrusting the Eagles out of the playoffs and thrusting
Yeah,
themselves in. I'm so surprised by this game. Cowboys win it 37-17. I had the Cowboys losing 31-28. Dallas had them winning 49-40.
yeah.
Um,
You guys didn't even let the Eagles get started.
no,
Not to
it was awful. Uh, Jalen Hurts was 21 for 39, 342 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions, and a fumble lost. So not a good day for Jalen. Put up a lot of yards, but at the same time, if you turn the ball over 3 times, it's not a good day.
yeah. Colts can tell you turnovers matter.
Yep, absolutely. And
Penalties
go ahead.
matter. Penalties matter. The Eagles had 12 for 115 yards.
Wow, I did not know that. I actually
Yeah,
was working this day, so I didn't get a chance to watch it. But I got to watch it back later as part of the game. And the Cowboys balled out, but the Eagles 100 and what? How many yards?
115.
That's like 2 whole drives, maybe.
Yeah, I mean the Cowboys definitely got bailed out a few times, but I mean 20-point difference, it kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah, and the awful Eagles secondary against the Cowboys Cerberus of wide receivers. It's the Hades three-headed dog against that awful bunch of players. Uh, I can't believe how much the Eagles passed though on a bad run defense. Like the Cowboys have a decent pass defense, but our corners are pretty middle of the ground for the most part, except for like Trevon Diggs and Chidobe Awuzie, who might be a little above average, but not much at all. But the Eagles just committed to this pass attack when the run game would have been much more effective.
Especially kind of contradicting what I said earlier about them not started. The Eagles did come out hot. I mean, probably for the first quarter seemed like the team that was going to win. I don't know why they didn't shift to a run offense mentality at that point. I think they had a 2 or 3 possession lead.
Yeah,
So definitely questions there,
yeah, and
coaching.
I think if you keep the ball out of the Cowboys' hands, they get eliminated so quickly. If you dominate the time of possession, and the Cowboys can't start that run game or get the West Coast offense rolling, it's not going to work. You know, they need time to, throw those short passes, let the receivers gather yards, and do their own thing. But it's I don't know. I can't believe that they didn't hit our biggest weakness and we were able to actually win this game and have a spot at the playoffs.
Uh, it is kind of your biggest weakness now, which is weird because this is a team for the last, well, maybe the last week or two have been fine. It seems like for at least half the season, you were neutered or stunted in a way by losing Dak. And
Hmm.
Andy Dalton comes in 22 of 30, nearly 380 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick.
Yeah, the pick was a pretty bad pick. I watched it, but
Yeah, that one
go ahead.
just between Andy Dalton now being a strong point and the run defense being a concern, I think this is the best Zeke's looked all year. What do you think we get out of him next week?
Um, I think Zeke is going to rest on his laurels. He's gonna tweet a bunch about how he had 100 and whatever yards this week, and then he's gonna remember that he's a fat cat with $20 million in his pocket, and then go back to the shitty Zeke he is.
Yeah, so maybe this week is just good trade bait for you as a Cowboys fan.
I would love that. Zeke, continue to give us trade bait. If you can get 80 yards a week, it's beautiful. Because then we can just figure out a way to dump you off, give you to a team that has a great offensive line that's not injured, and we'll work with that. But I will give Zeke props. He had a good game. He's still overpaid though. Is the one person who I do want to shout out, or the three people I do want to shout out, is our receivers. Lamb had 65 yards, a touchdown. Coop had 121 yards, and then Gallup had 2 touchdowns and 121 yards. Just all balled out.
Yeah, I mean, between those three receivers and Andy Dalton, and honestly, if Zeke continues to play this well, I know you have him secured until the end of next season. Maybe trade him in the offseason or at the beginning of next season, ride him and really give him a workload going into the playoffs.
Yeah, see if we can get something out of him. Um, One other thing I wanted to mention is that the secondary played really well in this game. The Cowboys secondary, that is.
Yeah,
Uh,
they did.
it's been a while since the Cowboys secondary has been dominant, probably since Deion Sanders was playing football. But it's good to see them actually, you know, being competitive at least.
And Jalen Hurst went up against good defenses before taking on the Cowboys. I mean, he already set a precedent of being a good quarterback against good defenses.
Hmm. Yeah, and
And
go ahead.
just something that he has that I wanted to ask just because it is related to the game. With Andy Dalton going off, it's job security for the quarterback. What do you think Dak's job security looks like, and what do you think Dalton's future is going
Well,
into next season?
Dalton's future, he's gonna get a starting job somewhere. I don't know if that's at the Cowboys yet. I think Jerry Jones is at a crossroads right now because the biggest difference between Dak and Dalton is that like they're not like super crazy throwers of the football. Like they're not going to be a Patrick Mahomes, which not every quarterback is going to be. You need someone who wins games, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Um, but with Dak, I feel like you're going to pay him a lot, and the real big difference is that you're going to get the athleticism that Dalton doesn't have, which can change the game for sure. There are several plays where it looked like, Dak was just going to get absolutely crushed, and he pulls his inner Deshaun Watson out and just spins around in circles, finds someone downfield and throws it deep, and they catch it.
Yeah,
I,
that playmaker factor.
exactly. And where it's like, I think you could get away with paying Dalton $10 million a year as a starting quarterback, whereas Dak is going to need like 35 to 38 million a year, and that's a 25 plus million-dollar difference, and with a defense that's very in shambles. It comes down to if Jerry Jones this is the crossroads he's at, where he's either going to need to figure out a way to rebuild his defense and move on from Dak, or we're going to have to figure out how to live with Dak and adapt our game to see if we can, be better, because our defense has looked better in the last couple weeks. Um, but we have two corners who are going to be gone in free agency, so we have to figure out ways to bring in talent while also keeping talent. And I think the other thing that comes with, if you're going to keep Dak, you're going to get a lot of good publicity for that because you're bringing back the guy who got hurt. People are going to like that. But what
Yeah.
if Dak never plays the same again? What if this ankle injury was worse than than everyone thinks? No one knows right now.
It's a gamble. It's a gamble to bring Dak back. It's a gamble to allow Dalton more than a 1 or 2 year contract at most. Either way, you're taking a risk. I think with the market you have, the best financial decision is to bring Dak back because he has the community behind him. At this point, he's the name people recognize for the Dallas Cowboys, and you already have so much invested in your offense.
Yeah, I
I
I
I
I
think
think with some less injuries on the offensive line next year, hopefully Dak doesn't have to put himself in like harm's way as much. He can kind of fill the role that Andy Dalton has now that we have figured out the offensive line.
I don't know. As as we look ahead towards the playoffs, I don't know if you should just go ahead and jump over that, bud. You have a chance to secure your division as a Cowboys fan. I mean, Andy Dalton looks good. Who knows what could happen?
Yeah, I mean, the Giants made a wild card position a few years ago and beat the Patriots, who were undefeated in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
So
anything can
uh,
happen.
it's true. You roll the dice when you get in the tournament. And honestly, this team looks well coached now. It didn't look well coached for a couple weeks there when we had some shoddy calls, but I think this team looks polished. We have so many injuries everywhere. The defense is starting to finally look like a middle of the ground defense. Uh, and then the offense looks stellar. Kellen Moore is absolutely coaching his heart out, and so is Mike McCarthy. You know, I got to give them both props because they were getting a lot of flack for a few weeks there.
I was one of those guys giving Mike some flack, but I have to give it to him. He definitely outcoached Doug Peterson today by
Hmm.
a long shot. I think penalties are a reflection directly of coaching staff as well, and 12 penalties is inexcusable in a game.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's enough talk about the Cowboys. Did you have anything else to say, Dallas?
No, no.
All right. Well, let's go next to the Rams at the Seahawks. Final score in this game is kind of weird, 20-9. I had the Seahawks winning 26-17. Dallas had the Seahawks winning 38-17. Um, either way, we were both right. Just Dallas was like pretty heavy that the Seahawks were going to win this one.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I think the biggest reason why I thought that, and it shows, is Russ may not look like an MVP, but he's playoff ready. I mean, he played good. And what the hell is happening to Goff? I mean, is he going to join Wentz?
I mean, two quarterbacks drafted right around the same area in the same year. So it wouldn't be surprising if that happened at this point, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
I mean,
go
he,
ahead.
he, he had a horrible pick, and I think he got injured,
I
so he
watched it,
might
yeah.
not play. It was bad. It was just such a bad pick.
It was really bad.
Um, he might not play against the Cardinals. So if he's done for the year, he gets just about 4,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, but 13 picks. I mean, that's just bad.
Yeah. I in my notes I wrote Goff was 24 for 43, 234 yards, and an awful interception. Awful in all caps.
I mean, Russ has 13 interceptions too, but he has 38 passing touchdowns. So that's fine.
Yeah. I
you know,
can
that
if you're gonna have 38, if you have 25 more touchdowns than you have interceptions, I'm okay.
that's fine. That's totally fine, Russell.
Yeah, and I think Goff is just terrible under pressure, and the Seahawks have figured out how to get this pass rush working. Uh, Bringing in Jamal Adams was a great choice. Also, his name's slipping me, Carlos Dunlap. Bringing in him was also just stellar moves during the season.
If they can get another cornerback in this offseason, I mean, Agent Boom might be back.
Honestly, and with a totally different look there, which is awesome to see.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing that helped the Seahawks is having all of their running backs healthy. Carlos Hyde and Penny and Carson, all of them being back is just was huge for them because they were able to finally have some sort of run game.
Yeah. I mean, didn't Russell even get a run touchdown tonight or that night?
Yeah, I think there was at least three or four rushers, including Russell Wilson, who had over 50 yards.
Yeah. They seem to fire on all cylinders, going 11-4.
Hmm. Yep, and Seattle also wins the division with this game, which is cool to see. I'm definitely been a Russell Wilson fan for a while, so I like
Yeah.
seeing them being back into the starting role for that division.
Between Russ, DK Metcalf, and Pete Carroll, I mean, I love that team.
Yeah, yeah. Did you have any? I really didn't have a whole lot to say about this game,
The,
besides
the
just Goff being bad. What were you gonna say?
the only thing I want to stress is that Goff, I mean, just looked so uncomfortable in the pocket. And if you don't think 38 touchdowns is a lot for Russ, because I did say not MVP, but he's playoff ready.
Hmm.
The only guy who has more touchdowns is the MVP, and that's Aaron Rodgers.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. Aaron
38,
Rodgers is just incredible this year.
yeah. And to give Russell just a moment, I mean, 38 is a good number too.
Hmm. Yeah,
But that's
I'm.
about it.
Yeah, I think that's all I had for this game too. It just wasn't that eventful. I think every what we expected to happen happened. Um, so let's go to something a little bit more unexpected.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this one, Dallas?
I mean, we're already talking about Aaron Rodgers, so I guess I'm ready for it. He did what he does best.
Yeah, let's go Titans at Packers. The Packers thoroughly beat the unfortunate Titans 40-14. Uh,
God.
I had the Packers winning 41-38. Dallas had the Titans winning 51-45.
The
Uh,
Packers were close, man. Packers, I only had just a couple points off there.
yeah, yeah, we both were very close on the Packers. Uh,
Uh,
just I don't think either of us expected what happened. Everyone keeps saying that they shut down Henry in quotes. A bad day for Henry was a good day for every other back in the NFL. He had 98 yards. So
yeah,
like, you
just
know,
there, just at the cusp of 100.
yeah, so like I don't think we can blame this on Derrick Henry. I think the offensive line was having troubles in this game. I think both lines for the Titans were having troubles in this game, getting footing in the snow. And it looked like the Packers were just used to that environment.
I agree just 1,000% with the snow being a factor. It's not the only one.
Hmm.
Everything else you said, I agree with. The Titans were beaten in every way on the field. Um,
Yeah.
Devonte Adams, we are so bad against amazing wide receivers. He had 11 catches, 142 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Three tutties. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
There was a Thursday night game. I mean, when we are playing a stellar wide receiver in prime time, the great team, we just really let them do whatever they want. Antonio Brown and the Steelers had an impressive 3 touchdown performance against the Titans on a Thursday night game long ago, I think 2 or 3 years back.
Hmm.
So I'm not completely surprised. I was just hoping that we were better than this. And in my mind, Aaron Rodgers secured MVP. I mean, he just came
Yeah.
out and got it done.
Yeah, in the snow, he was 21 for 35, 231 or 200, yeah, 231 yards, four touchdown passes and one interception. It's just
um,
it's just a really good game for him. And Ryan Tannehill, I think this was just a totally oddball game. I don't think Tannehill will ever played this poorly. 121 yards, one touchdown, two interceptions. He's
hey,
played.
fast,
Go ahead.
he's fast though. I don't know if you saw
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that
We
uh
Go ahead.
that run to the end zone. He's fast.
Old Tana Wheels was cooking. Um,
No, you're he looked uncomfortable.
yeah, he did look uncomfortable, but like think about where Ryan Tannehill has played. He's only played in Miami, which is super warm, and he's other places he's played is Tennessee, which has a temperate climate. He's never played in the Arctic Circle that is Green Bay. So I don't think we can be mad at him this week. I think he just wasn't prepared for what this week would be, and he has plenty of time to make it up in the future.
He, he wasn't the only problem.
Hmm.
fundamentally on the team, I mean, there was so much wrong with that game. Um, One thing I want to talk about that I'm sure every Titans fan does, it's not an excuse, but the refs just still don't have any sort of accountability. I know Mike Vrabel could have thrown the challenge flag, but it's not just that one play alone. There were plays that benefited the Titans that the refs did poorly on. There were plays that benefited the Packers that they did poorly on. Now that we're a week removed from it, there's still just no sort of repercussion that I think is enough for the refs in that game.
Yeah, you get a couple NFL players smoking the devil's lettuce. They get suspended and they can't play in the NFL anymore. But if a referee changes the balance of a whole entire game, it's whatever. Things like that happen. Refs make mistakes.
Yeah. But I do think there needs to be some sort of level of not even necessarily discipline, but some sort of accountability where they review that and learn from it, or New York can butt in and change that. Because the missed, oh God, that running back who had an amazing game, that missed out of bounds play for him, the ref was right there. I mean, Vrabel could have thrown a challenge flag. It wouldn't have changed this beat down. And I'm
Yeah.
not trying to use it as a crutch for the Titans' just poor performance.
Yeah, and the player you're thinking of is A.J. Dillon. He had 124 yards for two
God,
touchdowns.
what a game for a rookie.
Yeah,
Um,
it's interesting though because this was the everyone criticized the Jordan Love pick in the first round last year, picking a quarterback when you already have a quarterback. But this was picking a running back in the second round when you already had a running back. Um,
yeah,
and it looked like it kind of panned out. They have if Aaron Jones doesn't get his sleds on, then Dylan will.
yeah, and Matt LaFleur, with everything he's done between the offense they have now, the draft picks that they made, looking at it now, I think is a candidate for Coach of the Year.
Yeah, he's coached really well. This team last year did not look this good, and they've improved even after a questionable draft and a questionable free agency. There was a lot of question marks around everything, but it looks better than it did last year, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, I mean, they are probably going to have their full starting roster out against the Bears, but they don't have to necessarily.
I think they are going to keep some in to vie for the first seed, but I don't know that they start Rodgers. I would be surprised if they
Oh,
do.
you think it might be Love's time to play some football?
We might be getting to see a love story.
I would love that.
Let me actually see if Aaron Rodgers is playing this week.
To
Um,
my understanding, I thought he was.
I'm not
Uh,
sure. If I were them, I wouldn't, because losing him right now would be awful.
I
Um,
don't know if you could convince him not to play just with the MVP year he's having this late. I mean, he already has so many accolades and success behind him. But if he could just push and get a secure MVP spot for this year, I think that would be huge.
yeah, I don't see anything about him not starting. So we're gonna have to kind of wait and see. I wish I had looked this up beforehand, but looks like he probably will be starting this week. That's kind of crazy, actually.
Yeah, maybe check our Twitter for any updates towards old A Rod before the game starts.
All right. I think that's all we had for this one. You ready to go to the Week 16 recap?
Yeah, that wraps up week 16 Fast Five. So here comes the rest of the games.
Yeah, so first game next is going to be the Vikings at the Saints. Final score was 52 Saints, 33 Vikings. And holy Kamara, 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, a beast, absolute beast. You don't get 6 touchdowns in a day and not have some sort of just elite talent.
Yeah, tied a record with Gale Sayers, I believe, in like the 20s. So this is
Did
like,
you
go ahead.
did you see he got fined for the cleats that he wore?
Kamara did?
Yeah, Kamara did for his green and red cleats. It was a small amount. I think at the end it was worth it for him.
He got fined for wearing green and red cleats.
Yeah. Here, go ahead with what you're saying. I'll see what the fine was.
Okay. Um, why? It's green
Uh,
and red. Is it like the Vikings don't have any green and red colors, so if it was like, if it was someone at the bottom of the pile, I could see like maybe they could get confused if they were, the Packers and he was wearing green cleats. But like there's no reason to do that. Like, is it just the wardrobe rule for the NFL? It's so weird. Uh,
uh, I can't find a reason as to why, but it was $5,000 for the game. Uh, and in a rebuttal, Alvin Kamara paid that and then matched it to a charity.
yeah, I love that because like that's just such a petty thing to do. Um, I think red and red and green cleats. I thought they looked great. I was like, I gave
Yeah.
them props for those cleats during when I was watching the game. Um,
Why can't they have fun? Why spoil the fun?
yeah, I mean, no fun league for a reason. Only other thing I wanted to point out is that the Breeze had two interceptions in this game again. Not looking great.
No, I agree.
Yeah, maybe it's time for someone else to take the reins. You don't. What do you think?
I think that the biggest thing I have from this game is it was a perfect example of what both teams are, and what you're saying builds on that. Drew Brees is hurt. Drew Brees is old. Please just don't give him every snap you're giving him. Maybe Taysom Hill comes in for a few pass plays. Your offense looks predictable when Hill comes in at this point. If you don't give him some intermediate passes to make defenses think that he is capable of that, they're not going to respect it.
Yeah, yeah, and absolutely. This is just comes down to a chess game of like the defense is going to be like, well, Breeze can't throw it downfield because his whole left side of his body is cracked open. So, it's just not gonna. The defense isn't gonna fall for that. Oh, they might throw it down deep. You know.
Yeah. And on Minnesota's side, I mean, just sort of suffocated by New Orleans. Kirk Cousins held the ball for way too long. He
Yeah,
fumbled it times, I think. I mean, it was sloppy. It was sloppy ball from Minnesota.
yeah. Well, I think that's enough from that game. Let's go next to the Bucks at the Lions. The game that has everyone has crowned Brady the second coming of himself. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't
Double.
understand all this. The Lions basically laid down and took it in every orifice this game. Uh, I think most of the coaching staff was also out for the Lions with COVID. But Brady put up 348 yards for four touchdowns in the first half and then got benched in the second half.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns in a half.
Yeah, which is like that's crazy. But this is also the Lions who are suffering with like a COVID outbreak for their coaching staff. They have an interim head coach to the interim head coach. It's like
Hard to win.
yeah, it's hard to even be competitive in this game.
Yeah, I mean, odds are against you there, but I mean, you still have to save Matthew Stafford. I'm part of that foundation now that you showed me, the Save Matthew Stafford Foundation. Every cent that we donate goes towards his recovery for every sack.
God, yeah, he needs to like be rebuilt like from the ribs up, just like
Yeah,
cybernetics or something.
you got to get him out of there, though. You have to get him out of Detroit. There's no way
Fucking,
he can survive another rebuild.
he needs overnight shipping. Oh my God, it's not good.
Because Tom Brady gets 4 touchdowns in a half, and the Lions get 7 points in the game against a backup quarterback. That's going to give you opportunities to have 3 and outs to get the ball back quicker, more offensive opportunities for the Lions, and still 7 points.
Mm-hmm. And Mike Evans had a crazy day. Got me 40 points in fantasy for my loser championship. He had 10 receptions for 181 yards and two touchdowns.
as a Alvin Kamara owner, cheers. I didn't like that. Don't like that.
Yeah, it was a crazy game for Evans and Kamara on Sunday. Let's go next to the 49ers at Cardinals. 49ers take it home 20 to 12. Uh,
Yeah.
not a single touchdown for the Cards.
I mean, just Murray was 31 of 50 and didn't get in the end zone once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
And pro pick.
I think if the Cards squeak into the playoffs, they might just be a one and done, like 100%. Just like I think they could lose to an NFC East team at this point.
This is going to shock their momentum going forward. I mean, what do you do, especially when CJ Beathard is on the other side, just throwing 3 touchdowns like it's easy against you.
Yeah, yeah, it looked like it was just having a field day against their defense, which, and they're just not heating up at the right time. They were hot at the beginning of the season, but that's not the time when you want to heat up. You want to be hot coming into the playoff bracket.
Yeah, week one, whatever week it is you play, whether you get a bye or not, you lose. It's your season's over, buddy.
Exactly. Um, I mean, besides that, I really don't have much to say about this game. Did you have anything else?
No, Arizona needs to get it together.
Yeah, for sure. Cliff Kingsbury, where are you? Let's go next. Giants at Ravens. Uh, who didn't think this would happen? Ravens win it big, and their destiny is now in their hands. They have to win a game next week, and they're in the playoffs. They
Yeah,
won this
10,
game
10 and 5.
27 to 13.
Baltimore wants the playoffs. I think more so this year than they did last year.
Yeah, I think that they were mid-season. They hit a huge drought, uh, where like it was just like this isn't the Ravens we're used to. I don't know if it was play calling. That was my suspicion for a while there, but they seem to have buttoned it up and they look good again. They look scary again.
Yeah, I don't want to see them in the playoffs. Unfortunately, I think it's inevitable that I will.
Yeah, and I hope for the Titans fans' sake and honestly my sake because I love the Titans as well. I hope they don't have to face the Ravens, and I hope the Ravens, if they do face them, don't come back with a vengeance.
Yeah, Giants probably not probably they are out of the playoffs at this point, 5-10.
Actually, with a Washington loss and a Cowboys loss, they win the division at 6-10.
I don't think we have to worry about that.
I don't know, Dallas. Could you imagine 6-10 champion?
It would be interesting. I would love to see what they do on a grand stage.
I I think roll over and just take it.
Hard to imagine anything else
Uh,
for the New York
speaking
Giants this year.
speaking of rolling over and taking it, let's just go to the Browns at Giants. Or excuse me, at Jets. The Browns lost 23-16.
Hey, Jets win 2 in a row. Jets win 2 in a row.
Wow.
What's going on?
I know there's injuries and COVID for the Browns players that had a lot out, but they were held to 45 rushing yards.
Yeah.
How do you let the Jets hold you to 45 rushing yards when you have Chubb and Hunt?
I believe Baker Mayfield dropped 3 fumbles as well. So why do you keep giving them the opportunity? Why not just give it to both of those stud top 3 running backs? Yeah, you got 2 of them in the backfield. Either will do.
Yeah, it's just like these backs are good, and you have a good offensive line that's good at run blocking. I don't understand the mentality of this game. Um, I think that they were just kind of like, these are the Jets, we can do what we want on them. But the Jets honestly had a solid defense the last couple years. It was just this year when they had all those people who were out, um, making it much harder. Losing Jamal Adams, losing their starting middle linebacker and a starting corner to opt outs. So it's it's hard to be a good team when all of those players are gone. And the Jets made it work this game though.
Did CJ Mosley opt out? Is that who you're referring to?
Yes, yes, yes. C.J. Mosley. I couldn't think of his name.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't realize he had opted out.
and
That is
also Brian Poole did. That was the cornerback I was referring to.
wow. Yeah, those are big players.
Mm-hmm. And just the Browns being the same old Browns.
Brown.
They had the destiny in their hands. They had to beat the Jets and they had to beat the resting Steelers. And now they 100% have to beat the Steelers or they're out of the playoffs, you know?
Yeah. And this is a Steelers team that for 2 quarters, the ones that mattered, played damn well last week.
Yeah. I know the Steelers are starting Mason Rudolph this week, so
That's fun
yeah,
against the Browns.
I really would love to see Myles Garrett turn him into a whack-a-mole again. But unfortunately, I think Myles Garrett's checkbook will disagree.
I think Myles Garrett will at least get a nice sack.
Oh my God, it'd be so funny to watch Myles Garrett just clobber Mason.
I think you can book it. I think it happens.
Whew, whew. I'm very excited. I'm actually gonna put this book on my to-do list to watch. Uh, let's go next to the Bears at the Jags. Uh, the Bears do it again, scoring over 30 points in 4 games in a row. 41-17 was the final score.
Yeah. Um, Jaguars continue to lose out since week 1. Just an impressive way to continue the season after that.
Yeah, I cannot believe the Bears right now. I Mitchell Trubisky is playing like he's playing for his job, which he is. So it's cool to see, but it's just wild to see how good he looks right now. Besides a couple missed throws, a lot of his intermediate throws look good though.
Do you think any of that is a reflection on Nagy, or do you think it is all just sort of Trubisky getting it going?
I think Nagy is a big part of this too, because a couple weeks ago, people were calling for his job.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I just wanted your opinion on it first.
I
I think
I think this might be the closest we're ever going to get to a head coach firing when they make the playoffs, you know? If the Bears made the playoffs, I don't know if you want to keep Nagy. I think it's if unless they win a playoff game, it's kind of like why, you know?
yeah, it worked out, I think, all right for the Titans whenever we let Malarkey walk after beating the before Patrick Mahomes Kansas City Chiefs in the wild card. The self pass Mariota to Mariota. Sure,
That's
everyone had.
right. That was the Malarkey game.
And when we lost the next game, which I mean, come on, that was a different Titans. The Patriots were different Patriots. It happens. We bounced back. We crushed them. But I think getting Vrabel in the door was a big part of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so too. Who knows? It might just be that, Matt Nagy isn't the head coach in the future, but I'm just not sure. I think the Bears, they have such momentum going into this game instead of the Packers.
Yeah.
It's also a divisional game, which are always weird. So,
Yeah.
I think we just kind of have to brace for impact and just see what happens with this game.
I mean, anything's possible on a Sunday.
Any given Sunday, as they say. Uh,
Yeah.
I think that's it for that game. Let's go to the Falcons at Chiefs. The Falcons choked twice in this game. AJ Terrell had a dropped game-sealing interception in the end zone. Uh, just awful. And then the the miraculously, came out of nowhere almost kicker Koo, who never misses a kick, missed the
Yeah.
the game-tying kick.
Pro Bowl kicker this year. Just goes to show you can take the Dan Quinn out of the team, but the team won't have the Dan Quinn out of them.
Yeah, you can't take the Dan Quinn out of each individual player. He left a little piece of his soul on all of their souls, and it's just cursed them forever.
Yeah, because the veterans on the team, I mean, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, they had an impressive game, and the defense had an impressive game. Kansas City didn't look like they wanted it all that bad, sitting at 14-1. Uh, they kind of got bailed out. Who knows what would have happened in overtime?
Yeah, and I don't know how many weeks in a row this has been though, but Kansas City has won one score games like a few weeks in a row now, which you win. It doesn't matter how you win. But at the same time, going into the playoffs, their last how many games is this in a row that it was like one score?
I
It's
mean, at
been
least two. It's become a cycle.
it's been the Falcons, the Saints, the Dolphins, the Broncos, the Bucks, the Raiders, the Panthers. That's all in a row. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games that they've won. Uh,
Within one score.
what was that?
Is that all within one score?
Yeah, that's all within one score. And let me see how many are field goal away. Let's 1, 2, 3, 4 games are field goal away from winning or tying it. So that's not
Yeah,
good. That's a team that's winning, but not winning like the Chiefs should win. The Chiefs should dominate you because they can throw it wherever they want to. But they're
yeah.
just not dominating right now.
It definitely goes into, I think, demeanor from the team because they are capable. That's a concerning pattern for a while.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. I don't know if this continues into the playoffs. They might just take it to the next gear and just start humming again. But who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, let's go next to the Bengals at Texans. The Bengals win 37-31. But who cares? Honestly.
Yeah, I mean it. Well, it's an impressive 2 wins in a row. I think Joe Burrow is phenomenal, and if when he gets back they ruin him, I'm going to be devastated because this win didn't matter. Texans continue to lose, 4 losing games in a row, hopefully 5 next week with the Titans coming to town. But like you said, not really anything to write home about for Cincinnati.
I'm with you. Did you see J.J. Watt's press conference after the game?
Yeah, I think for any Houston fan that hasn't, please do because it is for you.
Yeah, he a couple quotes. And he called the Texans trash, and he said, "We stink." Just you'll love to see it. Great press conference, fiery energy from J.J. Watt. I know he wants to get traded to Pittsburgh to be with his brothers, but I think you're gonna be sticking around in old Houston for a while, bud.
I don't think there's any chance he's in Houston next week or next year, just based on his contract, man.
When does his
There-
contract go up?
well, it's less about his contract going up and it's about secure money. Uh, Let me take a quick look because once I saw that, I was like, oh, he's gone. Um, he gets a lot if they keep him, but if they let him go, drop a hot amount that is just uh,
Hmm.
dead cap. Sorry, I'm having a hard time finding it. Hopefully, I can and maybe link it in a tweet, but without being able to find it so quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's gone. I don't know if he gets cut or traded because if he gets traded, someone else has to secure that large amount of money that otherwise could just be gone.
Honestly, with Bud Dupree being injured, it would make sense if the Steelers were the first ones to pick him up next year. I don't know how severe Dupree's injury is. I don't know if he'll be able to come back. ACL injury is tough on a guy who has to get from a 2 point or 3 point stance and run at someone every play. So, well, it'll be interesting to see. I definitely would love to see all three Watt brothers on the same team in the black and gold. Be interesting for sure.
I think he takes a huge pay cut to make that happen. I think that's definitely
Oh yeah.
possible for a stud like JJ Watt. He might have enough cookies out of the cookie jar to take a team friendly deal.
Oh yeah. But let's go next to the Panthers at Washington. Ron Rivera's ex-team does it to him. They beat them 20-13, and I wrote my notes before I heard the news of Haskins being cut. I wrote that he has been benched, and now he is cut from his childhood favorite team as well.
Yeah, yeah. And unclaimed free agent at this point.
It's remarkable, just because being I believe he was the seventh overall pick, got picked to his favorite team when he was a kid, and just didn't care. I know he apologized in a tweet afterwards, but like, you know, uh, actions speak louder than words. He did not act appropriately. He did not act in a way that you would want to give this man his job back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he didn't act like a captain for sure. Very shocked to see he was named captain and held that throughout all of this.
Yeah, super surprising. But we are running pretty long on this topic, so let's go next to the Broncos at Chargers. The Chargers win it 19-16, and Drew Lock threw another two interceptions. Still doesn't look good. Still doesn't look like the starter that the in the NFL. Maybe even just a good backup. At this point.
I think Denver has already mentioned that Locke has the job next year. So whatever your favorite bourbon, whiskey, even beer is, I would stock up if I were a Broncos fan.
Last game of the week. Let's go Bills at Patriots. I didn't write down this actually. I didn't get the score for this one. Do you have it in your notes, maybe?
Yeah, that one, Buffalo went 38-9 on New England. Buffalo 12-3. New England now 6-9. Nice, and Buffalo secured the AFC East.
Yeah, I think they had it secured last week, right? This was just kind of like just kind of coming home to roost and make sure that the Patriots know who's their daddy.
I do hope that that's the truth more. That this wasn't even a game that mattered to Buffalo. That they still just got it done. Before we get too far away from it, one thing I did want to say is Herbert secured the rookie touchdown mark with another week to go. So no longer Baker Mayfield. Just had to say Baker Mayfield doesn't have that anymore. Very nice to say. Very nice to know that's out there. But yeah, Buffalo 38-9 over New England.
Okay, thank you for putting that in there because I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Still an incredible year from Herbert, and an incredible year from Allen as well. I
yeah.
think that's
Allen's
all
been playing amazing.
for. Go ahead.
Oh, just Allen's been playing lights out. But that is the Week 16 recap. That is all the other games.
Yeah, let's go next to our Fast Five Week 17. If it's all right with you, I'd like to start with the Cowboys at the Giants.
Hey, I would love that. Absolutely.
All right. Uh, Going into this game, I'm kind of looking at it like, Dalton's playing lights out. The Giants are last in points scored, I believe, in like the last 3 or 4 weeks. Um, I just don't know that the Giants pull this one off. I'm gonna I'm gonna give it to the Cowboys, 41-20.
41-20. Wow. You are expecting that offense to come back out. I said 27-13 with the Cowboys
Okay.
taking it,
Yeah.
securing the playoffs.
Well, with that's we gotta still talk about the next game, all right? All right. Let's
Okay,
relax.
okay. Yeah, okay,
The
okay.
the Giants just haven't played well these last few weeks. I don't think they'll play well this week. I don't see them being the 6-10 division champs. It'd be hilarious, but it'd be very NFC East on brand. But it won't happen.
Well, even if you're wrong, there's a joy there. So I do agree with you, but if we are wrong, I would love to see it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, let's go next to the Washington at Eagles, the other game that determines this division. Eagles are out, but beating Washington would be a big deal. Um, and Heineke is, I believe, the starting quarterback for Washington. Uh, I don't know if Alex Smith is going to play. I think Ron Rivera would have him on the field if he could. Ron Rivera seems like a pretty tough guy. Survived cancer this year. What's that sound?
I was very sorry. I dropped one of Han's favorite toys.
Oh, it sounded like the pit of hell opened up.
It's a screaming wolf. I apologize.
No worries, you're good. But I'll just give my result from this game. No more flower talk. Eagles win it 20-13.
20-13. I actually have Washington taking it home 17-9. So not a lot of points scored from either of us
Wow.
in our mind. But I
So
don't see the Eagles getting it done.
so you think that Washington wins the division?
Well, see, that's an interesting point because I didn't know that going in. I thought the Cowboys would win the division and secure it against a Giants team. But if Washington does win, which I believe they will, an important part for that is Alex Smith did take first team reps, so I believe he will start and play. Uh, that I think Washington wins it, and yes, in that case, wins the division.
Yeah, wow. If I think if Alex Smith plays, my score swaps. But if he doesn't play, I'm trusting Jalen Hurts over Heineke or whoever else they have. The
Hey,
ghost of
three
Dwayne Haskins might start. Who knows?
CJ. What's his last name? Had 3 touchdowns last week.
Gosh,
So backup quarterbacks can be scary.
who knows? Who knows what will happen with this game? I'm nervous to see what happens. I want the Cowboys to stay out of the playoffs. It's not worth it. I don't think we'll go anywhere. But if we do make it, I'll root for them. I'm not going to root against my boys if we make it in, but I will root against them this week. Let's go next to the Jags at Colts. The Colts, I got them winning 40-17 to secure their uh, potential playoff spot if another team loses.
Yeah, it's not so much the Colts kicking the Jags when they're down. They just have to step over them. They're in the way. The Colts have to. This is inevitable. 34-6. So
Yeah, that
not
starts.
much more else to say.
I'm totally with you. I don't see the the Colts not dominating this game. I think they have a lot to play for, even though they don't have a guaranteed chance at the playoffs right now. I think this is a big game for them, and they're going to make the most of it.
Yeah, mentally, this is a huge game that they have to come in and play well. Because if they do make it to the playoffs, if they don't play well this week, what do you do going into whoever you face week one? Because you aren't getting a bye week.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But let's go next to their counterpart, the Titans at Texans. I got the Titans taking this one with a squeaker, 38-35.
Wow. I have the Texans not doing so much. 36-24 with the Titans taking it.
I'm gonna put this on the table right now. You ready? I'm gonna write this down in my notes. Deshaun
Ready.
Watson scores touchdowns on the day,
Uh-oh.
in the air or on the ground. Five total
He's capable, and our defense is a wet Charmin roll of toilet paper.
though. A single ply roll of toilet paper that is wet. Um, so yeah, it's not great. It's not the worst. It's definitely middle of the ground, but the playoffs it is a wet Charmin roll of toilet paper.
I don't I think Dion I think could have 3 touchdowns, maybe 4. But with DeAndre Hopkins not there anymore, I just don't think 5 touchdown games against the Titans are a thing for
I
Watson.
think he will score every touchdown in this game. I'm putting that every touchdown for his team, but I think the Titans squeak this one out and earn their playoff berth. What was your final score again?
36-24 Titans.
Nice, nice, nice. Well, let's go to our final Fast Five game of the week. Steelers at Browns. I got this one queued up. I definitely want to watch the rematch between Mason Rudolph and Myles Garrett. I
Yeah.
got the Browns taking this one home though, 27-17.
I've got the Steelers coming in and winning 31-17.
What? What? No, the Browns,
Yeah,
Dallas. I was so scared with this game. I want the Browns to just squeak it out a playoff berth.
no,
Just
it's not going to happen.
just seeing the Browns in the playoffs when they haven't been since '89 would be so. Oh, has it been 80? It might be longer than that. But it's been so long. They deserve this, Dallas. I don't care how much you hate them.
No, I agree. I actually agree. Even with the hatred I have, every team should remain competitive. I think the Browns are competitive now, and it would be awesome for them to break that streak and it finally show that the competitive nature is there. I just don't see it happening. The Steelers seem to have got it fired against a good Colts defense last week for the last two quarters. And I think that carries over against a Browns team that, frankly, isn't prepared to continue to play that caliber of football week in and week out going into the last week of the regular season.
Yeah, I'm totally with you that I think the Steelers are humming. With Big Ben out and no run game, I would be surprised if Mason Rudolph puts this game on his shoulders and just balls out.
Yeah, hopefully they get the run game figured out because, again, those two studs in the backfield are completely healthy.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with this one. But I think I'm ready for the next topic. Are you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go to the conspiracy corner. Tinfoil hats are coming on. Hot takes are coming out. Uh, do you want to start this week off? Do you have anything juicy to spill the tea?
Well, one thing I will say that I think is just fun, not even part of my conspiracy corner, it was listed just above it in my notes. But I think as far as week 17 Fast Five goes, all away teams get a win. That's Steelers, Cowboys, Washington Colts, and Titans all going in and getting a win on the road to end the regular season.
That's interesting. That is an interesting idea. I have all away teams except for the
Eagles
Steelers.
game. Oh no, the Steelers. My apologies.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh no, you.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right. Okay.
I will say if Washington does lose and that becomes wrong, uh, I think Cowboys win a playoff game and Pittsburgh doesn't. I have
Really?
I have more faith in the Dallas Cowboys going into the playoffs than Pittsburgh right now.
They
I
got
mean,
more
they
momentum.
yeah, and momentum is what matters going into the playoffs. The uh, Ravens last year can tell you that after we just embarrassed them.
And real quick, I have to give my stepfather Chuck. He told me in about like 7 weeks ago that the Cowboys were going to win this division, and I kind of looked at him like he was crazy, and I told him I really hope not because we need this draft pick. Um, but he deserves props. I told him I'd give
Yeah.
props on the podcast. There you are, Chuck. You deserve your props. You were right on this one. Good take.
Sounds like a smart 200 football IQ man, that Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck had it in lock last week. Um, I think I think I'm gonna. You cool if I go ahead and do my? I only have a couple takes. I have a one big take and then two little tiny takes. You cool if I go ahead and let those run?
Hey, tinfoil hat's on, brother. I'm just cool with hearing the conspiracies.
All right, let's go first with. I've already said this once, but Tua is not the answer in Miami right now. Tua
Ah,
needs. Yeah, I'm doubling down. He's been benched twice in the fourth quarter. Fitz Magic needs to start in the playoffs. Unfortunately, Fitz Magic will be out with COVID this week. So hopefully by the start of the playoffs, he'll be able to be back. But Tua's in his first year. He had a 63.4 QBR versus the Raiders. Not good at all. He holds the ball too long. He just needs more time. I think he could be better, but this is just way too early to start to it. There's no reason to when you have someone like Fitzmagic in the backfield, on the bench, excuse me. He's a veteran player, but he had a 92.2 QBR against the Raiders. And he's a gunslinger who makes plays. There's no reason why Tua should be in there.
And to players, it matters a lot who the quarterback is. And it seems like the locker room likes Fitzpatrick. I think they get a lot more out of the offense when Fitzpatrick is out there.
Yeah, and my, I think that it comes down personally to just Tua not having the experience that Fitzpatrick does, because I think eventually Tua could probably be a better talent, but he just needs more time, more coaching, more one-on-one, more playing to his skill set and figuring him out. Um, but I my going to the other side of the field, my dad, not my stepdad this time, has the theory that the number one is the problem. Having the number one on your jersey is the issue. Cam stinks. Warren Moon was never able to win a Super Bowl despite making it to the Hall of Fame. Kyler
Yeah.
Murray hasn't broke through yet. Uh,
Very, very bad game last week for Kyler.
yeah, and I think my dad said it best. He thinks it's a cursed and egotistical number. Um, did you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, just a very interesting take. I'm trying to think of any number one to prove him wrong, but I can't.
Not any quarterbacks. Pat McAfee, who was a good punter, not the best punter of all time, but he was a good punter in the years he played. Um, and my final take is this: why is everyone talking about this new 8K camera from Fox? Have you ever?
Oh God. Yeah, no, I more than heard. I saw it. Did you see it?
Who the fuck cares about this 8K camera? Okay, it's a cool picture. It looks pretty. But why is it like every podcast I'm watching, every single sports commentary person I watch, everyone's talking about the 8K Fox camera. And is this a conspiracy? Is Fox paying all these people to talk about their stupid camera underneath the table?
I've got disturbing news for you, Jeff. You're talking about it right now in a format to distribute that information to more people. You're in fact a cog in that system.
Well, would you be surprised if I told you Tucker Carlson from Fox was in my PayPal right now?
Yeah, yeah, I'd be pretty surprised, honestly. But I think I'm just tired of people acting like, congratulations, NFL, you've used your billions of dollars to catch up with what the XFL did before this. Like, congrats, wow.
Yeah, I just don't understand the 8K camera craze. I think it's an interesting thing, but unless you're like a camera tech person, like who cares, you know? Like I'm not I'm not really that interested in camera tech. I know there's a lot of people who are in the production industry, entertainment industry who would be, but it's not going to be everyone. Most,
No,
like Pat McAfee's a punter and did a topic on this. I don't know.
I agree. It's oversaturated the news, but I guess at this point there's not a lot to discuss for a lot of teams.
Yeah. I'm with you. That's all my takes, though. I had the big take, the two mini takes. What do you have this week, Dallas?
I got one more take other than what I said before, and just a quick little one, which is fun. Jets beat the Patriots, securing just how bad the Patriots are, hopefully in a lot of people's minds. And Jets win out, winning the last 3 games, just because why not? Why wouldn't they?
I love this take. You know what? I they at this point might as well just win out. You guys lost your first overall pick officially. Um, just go ahead and do it. It doesn't matter at this point. Uh, y'all keep continuing to hurt teams that are down, and you know, it's
Yeah,
it's great to see.
to be candid, I think it would be even more strange if the Jets lose this game, somehow win 2 games miraculously, and then lose their last one. It just seems weird if they don't go in and win.
I feel like Belichick has their number. Uh, he knows what he can do to hurt them again. We'll just have to kind of see with this game. I'm interested to see how it turns out. But you know, we'll, I I might have to put this one down to as a watch too. You never think a Jets and Patriots game too teams that are eliminated from the playoffs would be
Oh,
that great.
I'm
But
absolutely watching this game. The Patriots are eliminated from the playoffs, and Bill Belichick is going up against Adam Gase. If
yeah,
they lose, it's the biggest clowning for New England we've had in a decade. I would love to see that.
yeah, and I don't know if the Jets win, dude. And they win out at the end of the season. Is there any chance that Gase stays? Maybe as like a another coach, like a coordinator or something?
I've taken my tinfoil hat off at this point just because I was done with Conspiracy Corner, and I'm still thinking Jets beat Patriots. It's not even a conspiracy at this point, it's just a thought. It's just a fact that's out there. The Jets will beat the Patriots. Adam Gase probably still out. Bill Belichick, not looking good, bud.
This is my concern with the Jets. I'm not sure that they're gonna get rid of him, Gase.
Oh,
I
that would be fun.
I think that it has to happen, but I'm not sure it does.
I did hear, I believe it was Ian Rappaport or some other very reputable source that came out and said that Adam Gase, if he was fired at the end of the season, and that was already foretold, it would be news to him. So maybe they keep him around. Maybe Gase
Uh,
is the future.
Yikes! At least Trevor Lawrence does have to be wasted up there. But
Just wasted in Jacksonville.
I think that's all for Conspiracy Corner. I got my tinfoil hat off. Is there anything else you want to say real quick?
No, that wraps it up.
All right, well, let's go to the final topic session, our team's corner. Dallas, you had a bad week this week with your Titans. Go ahead and lay it out. Tell us what you think. What are your thoughts on your Titans?
The Texans losing and the Colts losing make it a lot easier to swallow. Honestly, it was a nasty uppercut to the jaw of a loss. We looked misguided, uncomfortable in the first half, and once we came out in the second half, it didn't matter. Um, that's it. That's all. The Green Bay Packers are a hell of a team, and to look forward, the the Texans defense, even if they play well against a run, it just seems like Derrick Henry has them figured out and historically just plays well against them. A lot of 100+ yard games. And I think he wants 2,000 enough. He's within, I think, 230 something yards. He would have to have a stellar performance, but he can still do it, damn it.
Yeah, he definitely could. I'm interested to see where Henry could take this team. I think AJ Brown is close to beating a record too, isn't he?
I'm not 100% certain on
Oh,
that, but it would
I'm
not
sorry.
surprise me.
I'm thinking of Devonte Adams. Devonte Adams is he needs like 192
Oh,
yards this week to beat some record.
that
Which
I can believe.
yeah. So I think with the Titans, if they can figure out a pass rush, they can go somewhere. I think it's just way too late for them at this point. Uh, I think that they kind of have to look at the draft next year. Who knows? The Titans could just put on their sleds and start uh, mowing through everyone these next couple weeks. But I'm not sure if that happens just with their struggles that they've had so far.
Not my Kool-Aid, not my tinfoil hat. But
Yeah.
I was exploring just Titan fan pages, things like that. Someone did suggest, what if Mike Vrabel, being a 200 IQ football genius, Super Bowl winning player, now head coach in the NFL, has a completely different defense to present during the playoffs, one that can get to the quarterback, one that has man defense. What if, Jeff? What if Mike Vrabel has just been playing a dog ass wet napkin defense all this time as a ruse, just to make
Um,
me think that we're a dead defense?
that's an interesting take. I will tell you, you need to make sure you didn't have any mercury in your tinfoil hat because it might be leaking into your blood.
No, you're right. Our defense is just garbage.
I would love to see the Titans have a good defense, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Not with Mike Vrabel as defensive coordinator. But that wraps up my Titans and my view going into Week 17.
Gotcha. Well, in that case, I'll take my soapbox out and I'll stand on it. Talk about my Cowboys for a second.
Been looking forward to this for days.
Whew, the Cowboys could win the division. I don't know if I like it. Big Cowboys win and a football team loss means that we're going to make it, and I think it's going to happen. At this point, I think the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs. Unfortunately for our draft stock, Dalton is playing for a job elsewhere or here. I think if he wins a playoff game or several, he likely can keeps his job. Uh, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think he'll win a playoff game. But if Dalton gets us like anywhere beyond the divisional round, how do you not keep him, you know?
Well, and with Dalton specifically being, I don't think he's won a playoff game. I know he's bad in the playoffs, but I don't think he's won a playoff
I
game.
believe
So
he's 0-6 in the playoffs.
that's bad.
It's real bad.
If you can
Uh,
turn it, maybe he's Brian Tannehill.
yeah. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe it was just the place he was at. The other unfortunate news the Cowboys have, besides potentially losing Dak next year, is we might lose Kellen Moore to Boise State. Boise State just lost their coach. I believe he got hired to Auburn
Mm.
to be their head coach. And Kellen Moore, it's his alma mater, and he's already interviewed for the job. Uh, Only offensive coordinator replacements I can think of is Matt Nagy. If he loses his job, could
That's
become
bad.
our. What's that?
That's not bad. I like that. I like that a lot. Nagy as OC for y'all.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind that. I can't see any other big OCs potentially making their way to the NFL. Maybe some people from Urban Meyer's old staff or Lincoln Riley's staff who could become our OC. But honestly, I think if we lose Kellen Moore, Mike McCarthy will just take over OC duties. And not that I don't want him to have someone hired as OC. Note Mike Vrabel here. I want an OC, but if Mike McCarthy wants to call plays, I'll be okay with that as long as if he sucks, he gives it up. You know.
Yeah. Something tells me though, adjusting in the middle of the season to a new play caller is stressful no matter what. But if nipped early, something a team can achieve. I think if McCarthy gets that ability from Jerry, he understands he has to let it go if it doesn't go well. He wants this team to succeed.
Yeah.
He understands he's with a new team. He's a big name, but Jerry could. I mean, I never thought you would get rid of Garrett. So
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows what your head coach situation looks like in the next 2-3 years, even.
And not to cut you off, but my headset did just give me the three beeps of doom. It is about to die. One last thing I
Oh,
wanted to say before my headset dies and the podcast ends is that we need to focus on defensive and offensive lines in this draft. We need some secondary help in the free agency. Maybe re-sign these corners we're losing, like Chidobe Awuzie and Anthony Get Down Brown. We'll have to see. I really want to keep those guys, but I'm not sure if we will. We'll have to look to the future, and hopefully we're able to rebuild this defense. And maybe the defense has looked better. Maybe Mike Nolan isn't that terrible.
I mean, the line defensively, yes, money needs to go there. But offensively, you have so many key injuries at both tackle, guard position, hell, center at one point. I can't remember if he's healthy now, but I think the defensive line is more of a problem and more of a focal point. It's sign at least one of those corners back, yes,
I
please.
think
Because, but
I agree with you that the defensive line is more of an issue, but we at least need to pick up one offensive tackle. Um,
hey, trade us Leo Collins. I would love that.
I don't want to get rid of our tackles. What I'm saying is like
Oh,
I want a backup tackle.
oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Greatest Leo Collins.
No. All right. Well, before my headset dies, we got through this whole thing without a break, which is kind of crazy because we went for an hour and 25.
Oh
Um,
wow, a little longer than we thought we would.
yeah, we were aiming for 45 minutes, and we aiming for the moon, and we got to the stars. So
Just itching for football. It's been a while.
I know. And sorry for the lateness again, guys. We won't be that late next week. We will be back hopefully on Monday or Tuesday next week. Thank you so much for watching. Happy holidays. Uh, so thankful that they're over. Um, uh, my name's Jeff,
I'm Dallas.
and have a good one, guys.
Enjoy 2021.